The Xbox 360 era of games was a heck of a time for Xbox. With games like Halo, Call of Duty, and Gears of War, it truly felt like a golden age, unlike now. However, one of these games, Gears of War, was so infamous for its intense gore and violence, so much so, it was banned from Germany for some time. Luckily for me, I lived in one of these English-speaking lands. However, that meant my exposure to the Gears of War franchise was through the original English VOs. Possibly one of the best VOs in the games industry at the time, with some exceptions. The first Gears of War showed the franchise definitely had some growing to do. Diatribes aside, having switched my console's preferred language over to German, I was well surprised to find that Gears of War did in fact have German localization. Or at least the Ultimate Edition had full locals. Due to region locks, I still can't play Gears 2 and 3 fully in German.
Willkommen in Dreckschaden, Phoenix. Können wir jetzt aufbrechen? Na und ab. Dann wollen wir mal ein paar Maden killen.
Oh yeah, name's Dizzy. My rig's a little sweet thing. Busy.
You a conscript?
Damn you, Xbox, for remastering Ultimate again. I want a remixer of 2 and 3. Anyways, this is the first Gears of War in German.
Und eine Zeit lang herrschte ein trügerischer Frieden. Bis zum Tag der Ankunft. Dann wurde ihr tapferer Widerstand gebrochen. Nach Milliarden von Toten entzogen sich die Menschen der Feindherrschaft, indem sie ihre Zivilisation zerstörten. Nun mündet der lange Kampf gegen jede Wahrscheinlichkeit in ein letztes, verzweifeltes Aufbegehren.
So if you've played Gears of War before, you know it treads a fine line between grimdark and hammy action. Something akin to Predator or Aliens. A dark atmosphere with dark themes that stops just before jumping off the edge by breaking it all up with quippy and quirky characters. Is the German synchro any different? It's like Starship Troopers. No, not like that, Domikopf. It is even hammier than the English, if that is even a word. Which according to Google Docs, it is. Let's take a look at Johann Gears to get a better idea of what I mean.
Was macht ihr hier? Dafür kannst du eine Menge Ärger bekommen. Und die anderen Gefangenen, wir können sie doch nicht hier lassen. Sieh mal an.
Willkommen daheim, Soldat.
Scheiße. Zentrale, hier Delta. Es ist eine Berserkerin in der Nähe. Bitte um Rat. Positiv, Zentrale.
Er ist eure einzige Chance.
Wilko, Delta Ende. Okay. Passt auf, Jungs. Wir wollen euch helfen. Und das werden wir auch tun. Jack, bleib hier und öffne einen Comlink mit dem Kerl.
Dom! Auf geht's! Auf geht's!
So probably not the cheese of the cheese. In fact, Marcus sounds quite straight-laced, in command, confident, but sometimes too much. Thinking back to English Marcus, played by veteran voice talent John DiMaggio, he's actually very gruff and cynical. You still get gruff and cynical from the German synchro, just it feels like he is saying cynical things whilst the English is conveying feelings of cynicism.
Zieht sich zurück. Ja, er wartet ab, hebt sich uns für später auf, wie einen Snack.
Völlige Scheiße.
Glaubst du, ich mach Witze?
Ich glaube, du bist scheiß verrückt. Das glaube ich.
Who is portraying the German synchro of our soul patch wielding protagonist? Well, that is none other than Stefan Müller-Huppert. Now, Stefan has been around, having played Erdnot Rex in Mass Effect, Phoenix Wright in Ace Attorney, and almost every character in the Halo series. Here's a number of other credits to his name. So how would I rate the German synchro? Well, with so many iconic lines that I can pull from...
Auf geht's.
Fragwolf! Mist! Schön! Stark!
And with a voice that sticks with me as a result, I give it a 2 Daumen. Dom.
Jack, mach die Tür auf! Dich befreien! Hier, zieh das an, du wirst es brauchen. Nein, die Lage hat sich geändert. Wir sollten gehen. Sie sind weg. Hoffmann hat alle begnadigt. Willkommen daheim, Soldat.
So, Dominic Santiago is very much a downgrade in my opinion. Now, it's not as bad as I originally thought, having played this in German years ago, but compared to the OG English, I wouldn't consider it a side grade. The original voice actor for the English VO, Carlos Ferro, whilst not set comfortably with the character of Dom yet, was in the future sense a perfect choice. I mean, his performance in 2 and 3 are some of the best in gaming. However, the German synchro is unfortunately not great, and having not played 2 and 3 fully in German, I haven't the slightest clue if it gets better. But alas, strictly speaking of the first, it's not good. Who does Dom's German synchro? Well, that would be Hubertus Gertzen, or so I think. Finding reliable sources has been a trial for sure. Now, looking up his other works, it's difficult to find other video games he has been in, but he seems to have done a shitload of audiobooks.
More like 10 shitloads.
Having checked them out, it does sound like he is the voice of Dom, but with all that said, in my opinion, the German synchro doesn't hit the same.
Keine Sorge, hab's kapiert. Könnt auf mich zählen. Überlass mir deinen Junker. Im Ernst, wir brauchen ihn. Du schuldest mir was, das möchte ich einlösen, und zwar jetzt. Okay. Ich sag doch, ich hab nen Plan.
Hubertus can play to Dom's optimistic side, but I feel it's more memey than anything.
Oh, ja.
All in all, not my fave.
Jawohl, das war klasse, Baby. Private Augustus Cole, vom Alpha-Trupp, Sir. Ja, so ist es gut. Die sitzen drüben in der Grabkammer. Wurde auch Zeit, wir haben auf den Hubschrauber gewartet, aber die Funkgeräte sind im Arsch, Sir.
Now, Augustus Cole, or the Cole Train, is a lovable, goofy goober, originally played by Lester Spite, and based off a character Spite had played in an ad. Cole Train is by far iconic to the Gears franchise. I mean, Spite's career in gaming solely resides in the Gears franchise, if I am to be mistaken. Now, is Cole any different in the German synchro? Well, in my opinion, he is very much still a lovable goober. Played by Hans-Georg Panchek, I think, Hans's Cole is still very much bombastic and energetic.
Kein Problem. Aufgepasst. Hey, du Blödian! Willst du was haben? Dann komm und hol mich! Hey, raus da! Los, 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 los! Wow!
Does his performance outdo Spite's? Hell no. But it is a good side grade. Now, Hans has been in plenty of other roles such as Star Wars as Luke Skywalker and Quagmire from Family Guy. All in all, 2 thumbers.
Verstanden.
Hier bleiben können wir auf keinen Fall.
Bert.
Richtig, du Arsch. Die Frage ist, wer bist du? Scheiße. Ruhe, nicht bewegen.
Was war das?
Eine Berserkerin. Sie kann uns hören. Sie kann uns riechen.
Seid ihr wohl auf?
Wir müssen hier raus. Es wird bald dunkel.
Und?
Verantwortung, Sergeant Phoenix. Ab sofort.
Sergeant? Typisch. Nicht die Schlauen werden befördert, nein, stattdessen die Vollidioten.
Nee, scheiß drauf. Ich hab ne Idee.
Ach ja? Was denn, du
Das
Schlauer?
reicht. Auf geht's.
Baird. Now it's time for the smartass of Delta Squad. Baird, originally played by Fred Tortellini Sauce in the English, Fred is a veteran voice talent of the industry, and if you've played or watched anything in English, you've heard his voice before. But who plays the German synchro? Well, it might be Klaus Lachthofer. He has been in shitloads of video games.
More like 10 shitloads.
So it is quite possible. Trying to listen to the past works doesn't help much, especially since his voice isn't as familiar as Fred Tartar Sauce's is to me. Meine Meinung, it's okay. Now, for the sake of time and not relying on AI or some rando on a blog, I'm gonna have a clip of all the other characters with a respective reaction for all of them.
Willkommen beim Delta-Trupp.
Wohin geht es?
Ambry Square. Colonel Hoffmann wartet auf uns. Nun, es könnte Alpha sein. Ist das der Resonator? Unser nächstes Ziel ist das Haus der Souveräne. Geradeaus, schnell! Sir, Sie waren bei der Death Watch.
Ja. Das war sicher eine große Ehre. Ich werde Ihnen mit Freude dienen.
Hey! Bist du der Markus Phoenix, der in Asphalt Fields gekämpft hat?
Klar.
Wow, cool! Nee.
Alles okay?
Ja, aber es gibt ein Problem. Irgendwas stimmt hier nicht. Das Ding klemmt. Sehen Sie?
Hands are shaking! My hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting! I'm still getting headshots! It's like boom, headshot! Boom, headshot! Boom, headshot!
Sie! Ein Verräter wie Sie hat die Uniform nicht verdient!
Scheint so, als könnten Sie jede Menge Hilfe gebrauchen.
Zur Seite! Lieutenant, gute Nachrichten. Wir haben einen Plan, den Krieg ein für allemal zu beenden. Ich erwarte 110% von Ihnen, Phoenix.
I am Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to.
Sensoren erfassen alle Feindbewegungen, Sir.
Ganz nah. Ja, Sir. Und im Moment wäre es das Klügste zu verschwinden.
Okay, Garmin. Video speichern.
I'm a snake. I'm a slithery little sneaky snake.
Aber ich verspreche Ihnen, dass wir neu anfangen werden.
Sie verstehen es nicht. Sie wissen nicht, warum wir kämpfen. Warum wir nicht aufhören können. Nicht aufhören werden. Warum wir kämpfen, kämpfen und kämpfen werden. Bis zum Sieg. Oder wir sterben. Und wir sind noch nicht tot.
What a woman. Before we send off, there are a few little quirks, you could say, that the German synchro has that are neat to point out. For one, the grunting, breathing, and of course, the death cries. So something that every German synchro of any game, and probably any language dub, tends to do is keep the original audio for death cries and grunts from the English. I assume this has to do with practical things like saving time and money. Like, it's weird to hear John DiMaggio's scream because it's nothing like Stefan's voice, but I assume any ADR director is not worried. There's also the concern of overstraining the VA's voice too to consider for this reason as well. Another neat thing is the use of English from time to time.
Positiv. Sie nehmen Verteidigungsstellung ein.
Verstanden. Delta out.
Zurückkommen, wisst ihr?
Verstanden. Phoenix aus.
Sind im Arsch, Sir.
Oh, yeah, baby!
Wie geht's, Ladies?
Now, why would the German synchro have the German cast say things in English? Well, that's probably because canonically all the characters in universe speak English. Let me explain. So, you know Trigun? Remember that moment when the Ronin bounty hunter holds up the sign and Vash has no clue what it says? Bit weird, right? Well, that is because canonically in the world of Trigun, everyone speaks English, even though the original publication / VO of Trigun is Japanese, so that's why. It should be noted, too, that the English military term Sir doesn't translate perfectly into German. Formally, officers are referred to as Herr, Frau, followed by rank, so retaining terms like Sir keeps the ADR clean, so that's a few of the many reasons why. So with all that said, what did I think of the German synchro? Well, I must admit, I do have a bit of a bias. It was absolutely awesome to have played one of my favorite franchises in German for once. Frankly, the English is of course better, but if you are trying to learn the language or prefer your native language, that of course being German, I actually do recommend trying the German synchro out. And if not for that, then for the memorable one-liners. Wow! Danke fürs Zuschauen und Auf Wiedersehen.